Alright, so it's Friday, finally out of school, so I decided I'd go ahead and work on the CB550. Been wanting to do a compression test on it, because I found out that the head's leaking, head gasket failed. Pretty sure it happened because the head studs stretched, which head studs stretching is a pretty common problem on CB750s. I don't really think it's that common of a problem on CB550s. I'm going to go ahead and do a compression test, make sure that it's only leaking from the head studs, and then I'll do a leak down test after that. I haven't had the tools to do a compression test or leak down test, but I went ahead and got the compression tester. I had one at my dad's, but now I'm here, so I had to buy my own. And then I got a leak down tester. I'll open this up. That's it. They're like 20 bucks. And the compression tester is like 40, but you can get like compression testers for like 11 bucks. That's pretty much the same exact thing. And I'm pretty sure they're just from Harbor Freight. So if you want to save some money, just go get the Harbor Freight ones. Because once I got this one, I realized they're pretty much the same thing. This just comes with some extra parts with it. But go ahead and do that. When you do compression tests and you have the motor rebuilt and everything, good idea to go ahead and start the bike and warm it up. So go ahead and see how easy it is to start, because it hasn't started in over a month. Alright, so battery's dead, that's awesome. So go ahead and charge it. Alright, so plug that in, got it charging. I went ahead and got a new clutch lever. Someone was selling it for like 30 bucks, and these are normally just under 70. So went ahead and got that. Right now I have like a little cheap MGO like perch with the stock lever. I don't know if I ever said it before, but I did have the whole MGO thing. I was riding for about 30 minutes. I was probably like 15 minutes away, and the lever literally just snapped at the pivot point. There's no bearings in here or anything, so the lever just snapped. I was like 15 minutes away, and I had to like kind of rig the lever so I could like actually squeeze the clutch and just kind of limped it home on that. So we'll go ahead and switch the clutch out. I'll just go ahead and skip to it being done, because I don't really think anybody wants to watch that. So go ahead and get that done. Alright, got the clutch lever on. Feels really good. Way better than the other one. And then it just has like this big knob that you can adjust it, and it has all the covers and everything on it. It was way easier to adjust than the other one, but when you're putting them together, it's kind of annoying because you have to like get that on, you have to put that on after the lever, and then you have to put this little thing on. Just makes it I don't know, I guess a little annoying putting it together, but it feels way better than the other one. For 30 bucks, it's only 10 bucks more than I paid for the other lever, and the other lever snapped. So as long as this one doesn't snap while I'm riding, then it's a big improvement over the other one. Still charging, but once I get it done, I'll go ahead and start up and then do a compression test. Alright, so I took the whole gauge thing off because I've had that off before, and I checked through all that was fine, but I went ahead and unplugged everything and taped it off just in case like one of the bulbs or something had a connection there. Then I tried it again and went ahead and burned up a fuse. So the only thing I could think of was the horn, because I wired that up and it went ahead and blew a fuse. And so I unplugged the horn, and now the fuses aren't blowing. So I guess the wiring that's going to the horn is messed up. I know the horn itself isn't messed up, but the wiring is. It's kind of weird though, because last time I tested the horn it worked, but I don't know, I guess there's a problem in the wiring now. So I'll have to check that out, and then I'll have to put the gauge cluster back on. But now I can go ahead and start it, so go ahead and do that. now I'm gonna do the compression test. I already got all the plugs out. Had to grind down with the sockets because it was too narrow, but went ahead and got them out. Now I'll just go ahead and do the compression test. When you do it, you want to hold the throttle wide open because otherwise you won't get proper readings. But go ahead and do that. Alright, the first one is at a 105 psi. Go ahead and just do it one more time. Alright, I guess I didn't hold the throttle open on the last time, so this is why you do it. That reading is a 130 psi. Big difference. Alright, so pour about like half a teaspoon, maybe a teaspoon of oil in there. And now I'm going to go ahead and check the compression again. Hold the gauge up. Alright, 150 psi. That tells us the rings are bad in it, which kind of sucks because I've already replaced rings in it. Alright, so I finished all the compression tests. The rest of them pretty much end up being the same. They're 120 psi, and then once I put oil in them, they're 150. So that just kind of says the rings aren't really seated very well on all of them. But now I have the leak down tester set up. Went ahead and I'm on the number 4 cylinder. So you just set the timing marks, which this has electronic ignition, so it's a little different. But you set it to the T mark on the plate, and then you have to take off the tappet covers, and because one is on the compression stroke, one isn't. You want it to be on the one where it is, because that means the valves are closed. To check to see if the valves are closed, you just take off the tappet covers. There's 2 of them on each cylinder. You take them off and then you wiggle them. You can hear it has a little bit of movement. And then that will tell you that the valve is closed. So once you do that, I have this set to 20 psi, and I'll go ahead and plug the air compressor in to it, and it will tell me how much, I guess, it's leaking. Alright, so I have it hooked up. You can hear a little bit of a noise. It kind of lets you know that it's leaking air. I went ahead and turned it up more so you can hear this better, but if I block off the crank vent for a little bit and then let off, you can hear all the air escape. So I'll go ahead and do that, and I'll let off. So you can tell that it's leaking through the piston rings. And I forgot to show the final leakage. Barely tell, but you set it to the 0. So I went ahead and set it to the 0 and plugged back in, and it's just under 10%. I would say that's about 8% leakage. So it's still fine. Should be able to still go ahead and run it, but I'm gonna go ahead and do the leak down test on the number 1 cylinder, because that's where you can tell the head gasket's filling and just see what the numbers are from there. Alright, so I just finished doing the leak down test on the number 1 cylinder, and I knew the head gasket was leaking and everything, so I went ahead and I plugged it in, and it showed the same leakage as on number 4. And just to clarify, number 4 had less than 10% leakage. That's absolutely fine. So that means the rings have a little bit of leakage, but every single vehicle you have is going to have some leakage past the rings with compression, and 10% is within spec, so that's completely fine. I think you can have like up to 20% and be fine. So that means number 4 is fine. I don't really have to bore it. So I did this one, and it was showing it was fine. So that means this one's fine. So I was like, that doesn't really make any sense. So I went ahead and turned the dial on the leak down tester up to 50 psi, and I didn't see any bubbling around the head gasket or anything like that, and there's oil all over it, so if the head gasket was leaking, it would show some bubbling. So that means the head gasket's not bad. So I went ahead and I put my finger over the vent tube and looked, and up here, right there, with the shiny bolts on it, that's just a little vent cover. I guess that isn't, the seal on it's messed up, so that's leaking oil. So my whole oil leak and everything came from that vent cover. So it means my motor's fine. I can keep running the motor. All I have to do is just replace that seal and there will be no more oil leak. So that just shows you why it's important to just go ahead, bite the bullet, invest in tools. Because if I didn't go ahead and buy the leak down tester, then I would have just assumed that I need to go ahead and rebuild the motor. Alright, after the leak down test, that just shows me that I don't have to bore the bike. The compression test does show that when I add oil, that the compression goes up, so the rings aren't, I guess, completely seated properly. It probably could use new rings, but right now I'm going to go ahead and replace the oil seal, because that's where the oil is leaking from. It has 130 psi. I would like to see 150, but right now I'm going to go ahead and replace that seal. I'll finish tuning it so I can get some videos riding it, and I'll put some more miles on it to see if there actually is a problem. But I'll go ahead and ride it. That will tell me really if there is a problem. If there's not, then I'm just going to go ahead and replace the seal and it will be fine. Got quite a bit done today. Now I know that I don't have to completely rebuild the motor and bore it out and everything like I thought I did. Also, this clutch feels way better than the other one, and it has like a bunch of adjustability and everything. So that was really nice, and I was kind of afraid of the clutch snapping again. So that was good, and then also found out some wiring gremlins. And then when I was pulling the plugs, you can see how dark that is. They should be tan. So that shows when I went to, I put 45 pilot jets in there because it was showing that it's running lean. And so I went and did 45 pilots, and so I guess now I gotta adjust the idle a little bit, because right now I have the idle screw almost all the way out, and it should probably be almost all the way in with 45s. So get that done. I don't know, a bunch of good news on it, so I'll go ahead and order that seal, be able to ride it, and then I'll finish up the wiring and should be able to get some videos of it riding soon. It's probably kind of sucks just watching videos of it sitting in the garage, but I guess now once I get this done, have riding videos on it. If you want to keep seeing videos like this, go ahead and subscribe, and if you like the video, go ahead and like it. Thanks for watching.